Hey guys, welcome on into the next NHL season preview show. Today I'm going to break down all about the Vegas Golden Knights, taking a look at their additions and subtractions, upcoming free agents for the upcoming season, possible lineup for opening night, team future bets, and player future bets. And we're going to jump right into it here, taking a look at the additions and subtractions for the Vegas Golden Knights. So, right off the bat, starting with subtractions as I always do. And the first thing I notice here is that all of the players in the subtractions list were players that played last year for the Vegas Golden Knights. None of them are uh, AHL depth players. These guys were big parts of this Vegas Golden Knights team. So Paul Cotter goes off in a trade. Akira Schmid and Alexander Holtz go the other way. Logan Thompson is traded for some draft picks to Washington. Alec Martinez moves on to Chicago. Stevenson moved on to Seattle. Speaking about Seattle, if you didn't watch the Seattle season preview show, go and watch it. I have a future bet I really like in that video. Anthony Mantha, um, brief stay with the Vegas Golden Knights. Jonathan Marchessault, who has been with the team since they joined the NHL, and Michael Amadio as well. So Vegas lost some guys. They lost some guys this offseason. Looking at the additions here, as I said, Akira Schmid and Alexander Holtz come over by trade. Zach Aston Reese. Ilya Samsonov comes over from Toronto. Tanner Lazinski, most likely a depth guy. Um, Victor Olofsson, I really like that addition. Victor Olofsson coming in here to play on the Vegas Golden Knights. Never really was used to his full ability in Buffalo. I was surprised at times when he was on the fourth line and being scratched. I get it; he's not the best defensive player, but the guy's got some offensive talent. And I was actually hoping the Wild would end up getting him, but Vegas adds him here. Robert Haig, who was most recently sent down to the AHL, put on waiver. So, and then Tanner Pearson and invite. So Vegas added guys here, but they also lost a lot. And it'll be a little bit too early to tell um, if it was an improvement or if they got worse. But looking at these two lists, I do think Vegas is going to take a step back here this year. I think they did lose a few too many pieces. I think chemistry is going to be an issue for this team, but we'll, of course, get to that later on in the show here. Taking a look at upcoming free agents. So, obviously, some turnaround or some changes here for Vegas in the offseason. And now there could potentially be even more after this season. So looking at the upcoming free agents here, Brett Howden, Keegan Colasar, Victor Olofsson, only on a one-year deal here, Brendan Bryson, Alexander Holtz, and Jonas Romberg. Most likely RFAs. There shouldn't really be too many issues getting those guys signed. We'll see how Alexander Holtz does in his first season with Vegas. Victor Olofsson, I think it'll of course depend on how he does this season. And I would think that Vegas would want to keep the other Brad Howden and Keegan Colasar. But again, I think it'll depend on how their season goes. Those guys are kind of replaceable in the free agent market. Um, Shea Theodore, Braden McNabb, Nicholas Haig, three big pieces to this Vegas Golden Knights defense. All UFAs, Nicholas Haig and RFA. So Vegas will have some decisions to make with the defense, especially Shea Theodore and obviously McNabb and Haig. And then when you look at it, three goaltenders for this Vegas Golden Knights team. Robin Leonard is currently injured. Don't know if he'll play this season, but all three goalies are UFAs. So Vegas can go any which way they want with their goaltending. I think it'll really depend on how both Aiden Hill and Ilya Samsonov do this year. I would expect Vegas to resign one of those guys, but if Vegas misses the playoffs, if goaltending is an issue, we could see the Golden Knights make an in-season trade and move some goaltenders around or do what they need to do. But quite a bit of names here on this upcoming free agents list for the Vegas Golden Knights. So they'll have some decisions to make after this season is finished. A possible lineup for opening night. So looking at it here, Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, Victor Olofsson. Barbashev and Eichel have had great chemistry together. Of course, Marchessault is usually there. He's not anymore. So now Victor Olofsson comes in. He's projected to play on that top line. I like Victor Olofsson, as I already said in the show. So I'll be looking at his props and hoping that he has some success here. The second line, Pavel Dorofeyev, William Karlsson, and Mark Stone. Um, this is a line I'm extremely excited about for the Vegas Golden Knights. Pavel Dorofeyev, a lot of people don't really know a whole lot about him, but people that watched my show last year um, would have, and people that tailed me on my plays would have already been betting Pavel Dorofeyev last year, his anytime goal prop. And now he's really getting the opportunity here in that top six. Yes, he's on the second line, but playing with William Karlsson and Mark Stone, those are two really good players for this Vegas Golden Knights team. And he's really going to have the opportunity there. And he is the sniper on that line. So I'll be looking at his goal prop and point prop. I'm expecting we'll see it at plus money to begin the season. So that'll be something I look at when you look at those top two lines. I'm really going to be focused on Pavel Dorofeyev. I think we'll get great prices with him. And then, of course, I'll be looking at Victor Olofsson as well to see how his props are priced. Nicholas Waugh, Thomas Hurdle, and Alexander Holtz on that third line. That is still a very good third line. You've got Thomas Hurdle, who was the number one center on the Sharks, and now he's number three here with the Vegas Golden Knights. Holtz will has something to prove here in this 1 year deal with Vegas. And Nicholas Waugh, he's been a dependable player for the Golden Knights. Brendan Bryson, Brett Howden, Keegan Colasar on that fourth line. You may not get a whole lot of offense from that fourth line, but it's not going to be a fun line to play against, especially with Keegan Colasar on it. You've all got other depth guys that can come in here, and Jonas Romberg and Tanner Lasinski, if need be. So overall, looking at this lineup, the Vegas Golden Knights have a good forward group. Yes, they lost Chandler Stevenson, and yes, they lost Jonathan Marchessault, but they do have some good young guys here on this lineup. Now, if Victor Olofsson and Alexander Holtz both struggle, um, then I could see some issues here for this Vegas Golden Knights forward group. So there are questions with the forward group, but if everyone plays to their potential, it's a very good forward group. Looking at the defense, Shea Theodore, Alex Petrangelo, a great top pair there. Noah Hanifin, Nicholas Hague, and Brandon McNabb and Zach Whitecloud. The Vegas Golden Knights defense is not an issue for this team. They've got three dependable D pairs. Um, really, it's going to be about staying healthy. You got to keep everyone healthy, but especially the top two D pairs are really, really strong. So is McNabb and Whitecloud, Ben Hutton, and depth defenseman. So Vegas has a strong defense, a good forward group, potentially pretty good forward group, but the goalies. Obviously, Robin Leonard is injured long term. Aiden Hill obviously took this Vegas Golden Knights team to the Stanley Cup, and now didn't play as good last year for Vegas. Ilya Samsonov here, coming over from Toronto. Um, he's been okay and good at times, but overall, didn't get that long term deal in Toronto. 1 year deal here with Vegas. He does have a lot to prove, so he is somebody that's going to be motivated coming in to this season. Um, so the goalies, I think, is where the question marks are with this team, but the defense, I think, is going to be able to make both goalies look better overall. Team future bets. So we just went through the lineup, and it's a pretty decent lineup overall. When it comes to win Stanley Cup, conference, President's Trophy, division, I'm not really interested in any of those three. Now, win division is a bit interesting here because the Edmonton Oilers are minus 105 to win this division. Vancouver is plus 400. Then you've got Vegas here at plus 450. And I do think I do think Vegas is going to be a playoff team. So minus 300. I'm not touching that, of course, but I do think they're going to be a playoff team, and I do think that there could be some value looking at them to win this division. Because, as I said, if that forward group plays well, which is really the big question marks, I think, are with Victor Olofsson and Alexander Holtz. So depending how those guys do, I think that'll kind of determine a lot for the offense. The defense is great. If the Vegas Golden Knights can get strong goaltending from either one of those goalies, if Aiden Hill can go back to how he was when they won the cup, this team could win the division. It's very possible. So not something I'm going to play here. 97 and a half points. Vegas had 98 last year. So the books kind of have it priced around the same number here, expecting the Vegas Golden Knights to be very similar to last year. And as I said, I with Vegas here, their ceiling and their floor, I think um, there's a big discrepancy between there. So I could see this team winning the division if everything goes right. If everything goes wrong, I could see this team missing the playoffs, and not necessarily them being an awful team, but I like Seattle. You've obviously got Edmonton and Vancouver. LA, I think there's issues there, especially with Drew Doughty now. But if Seattle, Edmonton, and Vancouver take those top three spots, the Central is a very tough division as well. We could see some two wild cards from the Central. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about this Vegas Golden Knights team, exactly where they finish. I do think they are going to be a playoff team, though. I think they do either get third in the division, second in the division, or a wild card spot. Uh, but as I said, I could see this team winning the division. So when it comes to team future bets for Vegas, I would look at point total over, and I would look at win division if you wanted to play something on the Golden Knights. Team future bets here. Jack Eichel, 31 goals last year, 27 the season before that. His goal total is at 35 and a half. So they're expecting some goals from him. The only time he's hit this in his career was in 2019-2020 with Buffalo Sabres. 68 games, he had 36 goals. But the last two seasons, 67 games played, 63 games played. Point total 68, 66. So if Jack Eichel plays a full 82 game season, he most likely hits the goals and the points. The issue is that he hasn't been doing that. He has not been playing a full season. He's never played a full season in his career, in his NHL career. His first season, 81 games played, so he was very close. But other than that, he's missed games every year. And 63 games played last year. So if you've watched other preview shows, when it comes to player future bets, I want a guy who's going to stay healthy. And unfortunately, that hasn't been Jack Eichel. Thomas Hertl here, 22 and a half goals, 54 and a half points. Well, he's also had some injury history as well. Played in 54 games last year and had 38 points. With the Vegas Golden Knights, though, he played in 6 regular season games and had 4 points. Only 1 point in 7 playoff games. So kind of fell apart there in the playoffs. But if he plays a full season again, I could see Thomas Hertl racking up the points. But no play there for me. William Karlsson, 23 and a half goals, 60 and a half points, 30 goals last year, 60 points. The point total, he has one time, the very first season with the Vegas Golden Knights, 82 games played, 43 goals, 78 points. That was the best year of his NHL career. He's never quite gone back to that point. But last year, 30 goals, 30 assists, 60 points in 70 games. Had he played a full season, another 12 games, he could have probably not hit that 2017, 2018 mark, but he could have had a better season last year. So no plays there. Noah Hannafin, he played in 80 games with um, Calgary and Vegas last year. He had 47 points. His point total here is at 50 and a half. Previous years in Calgary, he 81 games played, 81 games played. So he has been good with the games played, but he has never once in his career hit the 50-point mark. His best season was 48 points with the Calgary Flames in 21-22. So, yes, he's going to be a big part of this Vegas defense, but I can't recommend you taking his point total over when he's never hit it in his NHL career. Mark Stone only played in 56 games played last year, had 53 points. And Mark Stone, he has been um, he's been very injured. I guess you could say, unfortunately for him, 56 games played last year, 43 the season before that, 37, 55, 65. Played with Ottawa and Vegas there, 77. So that was a good year for him. 59, 58, 71, 75, 80. So the last few years have been really rough with injuries for Mark Stone. So you guys know where I'm going. I can't take his point total. Not a player that has very large injury history. Aiden Hill, 26 and a half wins, 19 last year, 16 the season before that, 35 games played last year, 27 the season before that. His win total is high, 26 and a half. Ilya Samsonov could definitely compete for starts. I don't think it's written in stone that Hill is the starter for the entire season, and I could see it being a 1A, 1B type thing. And I could see Ilya Samsonov potentially playing well enough to take the starter's role. So, if anything, I would lean under. But then again, if Aiden Hill goes back to how he was when the Knights won the Stanley Cup, and if Ilya Samsonov struggles, they could go heavily with Aiden Hill, and he could hit that win total. So ultimately, when it comes to this Vegas Golden Knights team, when it comes to future bets, I don't have anything. But this is a team I'm going to be looking at in the regular season, which is not too far away as I record this video. They are going to be a team that I'm going to be looking at for player props, as I said already, Pavel Dorofeyev and Victor Olofsson. So we'll see how the Vegas Golden Knights do this season. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you guys like NHL betting, subscribe to the channel. NHL show is coming very soon. Can't wait to break down NHL plays every day here on the channel. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. 2 more shows left: the Vancouver Canucks and Anaheim Ducks. So stay tuned to those shows. Thank you, everyone, for watching.